Hi and greeting everyone. Welcome to the 4th ILSA's International Virtual Conference on Learning and Development, Iclad 2020. Special for Iclad 2020 participants, every afternoon we have a special coffee talk session with our guest. And today with me, we have a very special young leader from TNB, and he will be sharing his stories, insights, and aspiration on many topics. By the way, my name is IRBB Hazrina, and with me today is...
I'm Umar. My full name is Umar Rizwan bin Hawari. My passion is actually accelerating performance. All right.
Okay.
On my own in particular, my family second, and the third one is actually on business.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, so should I address you as Cik Umar?
Umar, just Umar.
Omar, okay. Okay, so maybe you can tell us about what you're doing right now.
Okay. I am actually seconded to Tenaga Switchgear Sdn Bhd under the Leadership Drives program. All right. About 3 years ago, I was assigned to be here. The target is actually to bring 175 million of sales or revenue to the Tenaga Switchgear. At that time, I look at the P&L of Tenaga Switchgear. It was performing around an average of 95 to 98 million ringgit at the time. So after 2 years and now coming to 3 years and going after 3 years actually, we are very lucky to report that in 2019 we were actually announced unofficially as one of the best performing subsidiaries in TNB, alhamdulillah. And at that year also, 2019, we record our highest profit and also highest revenue, alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah, that's a very good news. I'm sure you are excited that you have contributed to the transformation of Tenaga Switchgear.
Yes.
Maybe you can share what is Tenaga Switchgear. I think it's probably one of the lesser known subsidiary.
Yeah, probably. Yes, probably. Okay. First of all, that achievement is not from me alone. Of course, it is. It has to be a team achievement, right? Especially under the guidance of our ex managing director, Dato' Isham. Now he's in Genco doing business development, and also all our teams here. Okay, that actually transform their mindset, that's the first thing, into action. Right? So they have to be, I would say, acknowledged as part of the team that actually bring Tenaga Switchgear to the expectation that probably not up to the standard that the top management TNB is looking for, but we are striving to be exceeding that very, very soon, inshallah. Coming back to your question just now, I think Tenaga Switchgear is actually a subsidiary that is actually living the life of Tenaga to ensure that the flow of electricity from generation, transmission to distribution is actually smooth. Okay, our key products is actually switchgear, all right. But our key aspiration is actually for the entire ecosystem within the substation. I think the substation consists of switchgear itself, the building, the civil building, the energy storage battery system, and one of the most important thing is transformer and the underground cable there. However, we are not aspired to go into the transformer business, as we have a sister subsidiary and we wish them to prosper as we go along. And also another thing, underground cable is Tenaga Cable Industry, and we also wish them the same. All right.
What is the right attitude to have with respect to transformation? Maybe attitude and also the mindset.
I have in my mind now. I have always in my mind. I have 3 key things that I always want to practice. All right. The first one is we have to think positively.
Okay.
In any manner, we have to think positively. Secondly, after you think, if you don't do this, it's just there in your mind. It's just an idea on the paper. It's just an idea that in the presentation slide. It doesn't go anywhere.
Okay.
You have to act proactively.
Okay.
All right, not just act, but you have to act proactively. All right, when the word act proactively means a lot of things. All right, means that collaboration, engagement. All right, getting to know new things, getting to venture into new areas of things. All right, so that itself is a act positively action that I am actually advocating for myself and also to others. The last one is actually my tagline. Okay, if I post in LinkedIn or social media, IG especially, I use the tagline of business athlete.
Business athlete.
Athlete,
Okay.
all right. So what happened is they don't actually, I would say, marry to each other, all right. But they have a similar characteristic that for you to success in business and for you to success in sports, all right, as an athlete, all right, in business as a businessman, all right, or in a corporate world, you should have certain attitude that is similar, mutual, all right, that has to be practiced together, right? For example, in business, if you don't read more, all right, reading, if you don't read more, you don't get new insight.
Okay.
All right, reading in terms of athleticism is actually practicing.
Okay.
If you don't practice,
Okay.
your body won't be able to compete with the best in the world.
Okay.
Or you won't able to compete at all.
Okay.
All right, so that is the similarity of that. If you look at my social media, I always post about sports. All right, I always post about reading. All right, and I always post about how can we actually engage together or collaborate together to actually unleash our full potential.
Okay.
All right. Okay.
But reading, okay, let's talk about reading. I think reading is kind of a problem nowadays. Okay, books are not as attractive as they used to be.
Yes.
People like to read on phones.
Yes.
But the things that they read on phones.
Yes.
Okay. Some people just like to read for pleasure
Yes,
and
yes,
to
yes.
release stress. But I think the reading that you're talking about here is probably not that, not referring to pleasurable reading.
No and yes. No and yes.
Okay.
All right. I do buy comics book. All
Okay.
right. And I do buy autobiography. Okay.
Okay.
The last autobiography that I read and I finished was about the wife of Prince. Alamak, lupa lah nama dia. Prince, not Prince Harry. Prince. Apa nama dia? Prince tu? Kate Middleton. Yes.
Prince William.
Thank you, Prince William. Yes. My God, I just read the book, but I cannot read it. Astaghfirullahalazim. Okay. So the reason I want to read her autobiography, that I want to understand how actually a normal people engage with the royals, which I will not have the opportunity probably. all right. So and yet she becomes successful. That's number one. But number two, I would like to know how actually her influence toward her husband as a loyal.
Okay.
All right, royal, not loyal. The third one is how does her influence toward the community.
Okay.
All right. So I like to know, applying that to business, how can I strategically apply strategic influence to people?
Okay.
All right. That is very critical in terms of actually getting new business. That's number one. Sustaining the current business, which is very, very important.
Okay.
All right. Then the most important thing is referral from others.
Okay.
Referral from others. So that referral from others is actually coming from strategic influence. For example, if you like that particular tudung that you're wearing now, all right, and suddenly someone says, tudung ni cantik lah, alright, and this, tapi your response is cantik tapi panas. So so your comment is actually an influence to somebody.
Yeah.
Alright, okay. So if you say otherwise, they say, cantik, memang cantik. This is kena my baju apa semua, and then it's also very cooling inside. That is also an influence.
True.
Alright. So, but strategic influence is different. Strategic influence is how can a commoner, alright, get into a royal institution and get her influence towards the community. That is something that I like to learn. Because that is something that I cannot experience, but I am reading it so that I can visualize how she did it. So that is what reading is all about. You just not want to get some knowledge, but you also want to visualize how others experience their life. All right. Okay. That is on autobiography. But coming back to my earlier comment on books, I also read a lot of comics. The reason I read a lot of comics is in the comics is about the future. There's less comics about the past. Even if the comic about the past, they always talk about the future. All right, and the future is where we are going. I am not going to be 2 years younger in 2 years' time. I'm going to be 2 years older in 2 years' time. So in 2 years' time, what should I do? All right. Sometimes you have no clue in life.
Yes. Exactly.
All right. You talk to friends, your friends is like this. You talk to family, your family like that. But it doesn't fit your inner needs. So that requires imagination, and comics provide me that kind of imagination.
Okay.
All right.
So I pick up a few things. Very interesting. So it's strategic influence first is, and then second is imagination.
Yes.
Yes.
Correct.
Okay, but before we go back to this, let's talk about social media.
Yes. Okay.
Something that I really like to do. Okay, so what is your thought on leaders having social media accounts?
All right.
Is
Okay.
it important or is it not really necessary? And if if they do have,
Yes.
how do they actually capitalize on their social media?
Okay. That is actually a straightforward questions. All right, because as time move on, all right, it's either we adapt or adopt or we lag behind. All right. In my opinion, leaders should influence, and great leaders should have that strategic influence, and to actually cover the entire spectrum of group of people, especially the younger generation. All right, social media is the easiest thing for us to actually reach them. All right, so I advocate leaders, young leaders or emerging leaders, or even established leaders. All right, to actually go into social media. All right, I just wonder how can a 92 years old Dr. Mahathir can use Instagram to actually influence people on things that he wants to do. All right, so why not in business? All right, Elon Musk has done that. All right, through Twitter. All right, but I rarely see Malaysian leaders do that. I rarely see Malaysian, except Tony Fernandes probably. But that's why Tony Fernandes has such an influential in our community, although Asia is not performing well, especially during this COVID-19. But because of his strategic influence, probably some level of sympathy in the community towards Asia is there.
Yes, true.
All right.
People can relate to him very well,
yes.
and I think what the leaders has to do, they also have to inject some personal touch
correct.
into their accounts,
Yes,
right?
yes,
Rather
correct.
than having their assistants or somebody else
Yes.
write for them.
Yes, as for established leaders, they are also established coach, all right, for them to actually go to that can actually advise them of looking at your character, for example, what kind of social media, I would say, stages or stories that you want to actually portray. So there are a lot of coaches outside there that we can talk to them, hire them as well. All right.
But what about people who use social media to lash out?
I don't actually advocate that. All right, but there are people that is actually beneficial to you if you know how to read the situation. All right. The reason if one of the I give you an example. If let's say somebody lash out on something or at tenaga as well. For me, there is an immediate indication that I can reach them already.
Okay.
All right. Okay. And yes, there's a bad, I would say, signal to the community that he or she has lashed out to tenaga. But as a plan B for us, we can actually immediately reach him or her. All right, and correct the situation.
Okay.
All right. If not, how can we do that? Because without social media, one of the most, I would say, influential marketing of bad things or marketing of good things is actually word of mouth.
Okay.
All right. For me, I rather let someone talk bad or talk good about us in social media so that you can actually immediately address them. All right. The keyword here is immediately, because social media is about instant things that you have to think. But like Instagram, once you post at 3 o'clock today, I think by 3 o'clock tomorrow it's already outdated already. It's all news already. Okay, that's how powerful is social media is about.
Okay, Umar, now we're going to do our rapid fire question session. Okay, it's a simple game. The way it works is that I'm going to read out a word. There are 5 words in total. So you have to tell us the first thing that comes to your mind with respect to that word.
Okay, cool.
Okay,
Let me
so-
try.
Rapid fire, so the reply must be like this. Immediate. Okay, so are you ready?
Yes.
Okay, the first word is Malaysia.
Negaraku.
Ambition.
Whoa, that is difficult because I have a lot of ambitions. All right.
Then next word, rainbow.
Beautiful.
Exercise.
Fit.
Okay, the last one is intelligence.
Iclad. At this moment of time, I'm thinking of Iclad lah.
I heard that you are a big fan of the outdoor
Yes, I am.
activity.
Yes, I am.
Okay, maybe you can share on that.
Okay, one of the key reasons I like outdoor activity is actually to explore.
Okay.
All right. Actually, it started quite a long time ago. But coming back to Malaysia, I prefer mountain biking when I was coming back studies from UK. So in Malaysia at that time, 1998, something like that, there was very much less trails for us to do mountain biking. So after that, in 2000, I decided if the local authorities or municipal council doesn't want to build trails for us, like they did in UK or in US, might as well I do it myself. So we built a lot. We means that me and my friends, right, did a few kilometers of trails at Bukit Kiara, at Shah Alam, at Putrajaya. I used to build a few trails in Perak as well, but that takes a lot of travelling. But so it's around Selangor and Bukit Kiara. So actually building trail is actually one of my outdoor activities. The reason I build trails because I like to open the path for me and for other people, because it ties to leadership, because leaders have to open paths to others so that they can actually emulate. I don't want to use follow, but emulate and also succeed together with the leaders. All right. So that is where my passion is all about. So of course, after you build a lot of trails, and then I'm getting old as well. So and other people that actually emulate what I did, and they build more trails as well. So I can enjoy mountain biking more. All right. So that's actually the target of it. We want to build a platform so that people can actually succeed. All right. We don't succeed ourselves by ourselves. We succeed when other people succeeded together with us actually.
Okay.
All right.
So would that be your definition of leadership?
Yes and no. Okay. My definition of leadership is actually based on simple Nabi Muhammad and also the four caliph of Islam. How they actually define and also practice leadership. Right. I do not want to talk about our Prophet Muhammad because that is too high level of me to talk. But let's talk about, say, for example, the Caliphate, one of the Caliphate. So what happened is they have their own strength that they actually did during the tenure of become a caliph, right? As a Muslim, that is where we actually go. You know, I'm not actually downsizing any other religion or practice, but as a Muslim, that is what I am advocating first. All right. Next, let's look at Mandela. Let's look at Elon Musk, you know, the living so-called legend at this moment of time. Even let's look at Trump. How does he actually succeed from, you know, from a businessman, you know, to sometimes a clown, you know, and then or something like that. You're fired, yes, yeah. And also to the president of America. We should learn that, okay? The downfall, or even what is the rate of rise of success that these people actually, you know, giving us some indication of how can we do better in future. All right.
So actually, any stories, be it a good story or a bad story, there are always lessons and
Yes.
that you can pick up from the story.
Yes,
right?
correct. Lesson learned, and also lessons for us not to avoid the same mistake. All right. To avoid the same mistake, not to avoid the same mistake. Yes. All right.
Okay, so okay, let's talk about intelligence because this year's conference, the theme is intelligence, the
Okay.
art of learning.
Yes.
So in your personal growth and maybe your professional growth, what is probably the most important intelligence that you have ever used to get you through difficult times, to get you to where you are now?
I think if I want to single it out, it has to be humility. Okay, because I'm a human, and sometimes I also make mistakes. And one of the things that when you make mistake, I think saying sorry or admitting that you are wrong, or just say, oh lama tertinggal ke, something like that, apa semua, in a very honest way, you know, that act of humility sometimes, you know, put people's hearts, you know, from fire to actually into an ice box. All right. Okay. So that is for me what intelligent is all about. It's not about reading, you know, 20 books per week or something like that, but not telling people to read 20 books per week and to be humble about that. That's intelligent. Right? Right. But you have to actually portray yourself reading a book because you want to have some strategic influence to that, but practice some humility inside there. All right. So that is a very fine line and judgment to actually to go into. All right. So when especially during the social media time nowadays, how do you want to post you are reading a book, but at the same time you want to be humble?
Exactly.
So that's intelligent for me. All right, because at the end of the day, strategic influence for other people to read the same book, or to read a similar book, or to read the same topic, or to read the same, I would say, hypothesis inside the book is very important. So I always practice say that if someone gives me an opinion, means that he knows something better that I probably miss out.
Okay.
All right. So always accept someone's ideas. All right. Okay. And this is the best thing. I like to add, while I was doing the transformation of not VUP, but the first transformation of TNB under KRA, Key Resort Area.
Okay.
Alright, I was one of the sub leaders in the Key Resort Area number 3, which is cost efficiency. And I was actually very lucky to be with McKinsey for quite a long time. Alright, and in McKinsey they have this what they call idea generation.
Okay.
Alright, I have to say this. Alright, although it's not part of your questions, but when McKinsey did idea generation, they will call nearly everyone. Okay, when they call nearly everyone, there is already an engagement there.
Okay.
There is already a humility there. All right, and during the idea generation, they will ask everyone about certain. They will of course describe the problem first, and they will ask what is the best idea that you can give to actually solve the problem. So everybody will give some idea, right? And when everybody gives or when someone gives an idea, I say you are not supposed to comment about the idea.
Okay.
All right. In Malaysia in particular, or in many countries, when someone gives an idea, immediately you say, "Oh, tak bagus lah, you cannot do this lah, that is not feasible," and so on and so on. All right. So that particular idea was killed nearly immediately at an instant. But with McKinsey, no. If you are giving 5 ideas, your 5 ideas will be on the board.
Okay.
All right. If you give 20 ideas, your 20 ideas will be on the board. All right. So in idea generation, when I was with McKinsey doing the Key Resort Area number 3 for cost efficiency, we had nearly, if I'm not mistaken, 1,800 plus ideas. All right, ideas. All right. So after that, I asked McKinsey, how do we actually prioritize the idea? All right, because there's so many ideas.
Yeah.
All right. So that itself is actually triggering me some intelligence that what should we do next. Because if you stop an idea initially, not 1,800 ideas, probably 2 ideas only was actually filtered out. So after that, you're stuck with problem solving things. All right. So with that, next questions comes next course of action. All right, prioritizing and so on and so on. So McKinsey has 7 steps of actually apa kata orang problem solving skills that McKinsey advocate. Actually 7 steps basically, and I don't have to describe that. But one of the thing in actually putting down your ego is when somebody gives an idea, says that let's consider this. All right, regardless the idea is good or bad. All right. Have a mindset that say, if someone gives you an idea, let's consider this, and then you have a lot of things to consider. All right, and then after that you narrow it down. All right, narrow it down is a process of managerial skill, which you can hire many people that have that skill. Once you have someone with MBA, he or she must have that skill basically. All right. All right, so you don't have to actually apply the filter of blocking someone idea first. Get someone that is actually committed to actually narrow down the ideas to solve our problem. All right.
Okay guys, so we have come to the end of our session for today. So thank you very much for having us today. It was a lovely visit, and to the audience, I hope you get really good points from Uma, and good luck. Thank you.